Listen, this is a great episode. I'm so excited because I had to convince our guest to be on, and I finally did. I was able to convince her. One thing about me, fun facts about me. 1, I love being a Christian. 2, I love being Black. And 3, I love being a woman. And with this month being Women's History Month, I really wanted to bring women on the show, talk about who they are. And also, I love bringing people to the forefront that you should know. And I love bringing people from the staff side here at Reach to the forefront because they're the reason to why a lot of they're a big part of how the 116 movement gets pushed out. And we have someone who is new on staff, and we're going to talk more about that. I had to convince her, like I was saying. She's finally here. We have Elsa Peterson on the show.
Yeah, add those in.
How are you, Elsa?
I'm so good.
Thank
I'm
you
so
for being
excited.
on the show.
Of course. Anything
I'm so
for
happy
you.
you're here. Listen, let's go. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk. So many new things have happened in the past couple of months for you and things of that nature. Talk to us about the season of life that you're in right now.
I'm very go with the flow always. That might sound corny. But this season I'm just kind of adjusting, I guess, and going with the flow as I adjust. I recently moved. I live alone now. Probably shouldn't say it on the pod.
But don't run up on Elsa because I don't play that. I promise you.
No, I live with a big, scary man.
Right?
No, I live alone now. I'm in a new apartment, a new part of town. I have a new job. I'm making new friends.
Yes.
And I feel like this season is just about adjusting and learning for me. I've never worked at a label before. I used to work in digital marketing, but now I'm marketing in general.
Yeah.
A lot of big picture moments. So I'm just going with it.
Yeah.
But I'm having so much fun.
Yeah. How have you been? How are you adjusting to the newness of everything? Does it make you a little anxious? Are you excited about it? What do you stand as far as the newness and the change of things?
I mean, it's similar to how I feel right now on the pod. I'm so excited, but my when change happens or I do something new, my body feels nervous, but my brain is let's go. So excited. So yeah, when I was hired, I knew that I was meant to be here. I had a really deep feeling and I prayed about it a lot. So I knew that I was ready. And I felt good, but my body was kind of quivering.
Yeah.
Just like a human reaction.
I feel like that's normal though. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we want to accept the new things, but our bodies, so we have to kind of there's that
push through,
push through that wrestle. So I totally resonate with that. So I want to fill everybody in. So first I want to give flowers and credit where credit is due to Joe Malone, who used to be here at Reach. I believe Joe was here for 6 years. And I remember when he was here as an intern, we had him here on the 116 Live. He was the digital operations manager or director.
He was a marketing director.
Yes, marketing director. And he's been here for a long time, producer of 116 Life. And Joe just had a change of career. And so therefore he told everyone here at Reach, told us here at 116 Life, and continued to move on from and finish his season here at Reach. And of course, when someone leaves, you got to fill a position. And Elsa is that new position here. So, and we're so excited. Got the chance to meet Elsa, and you were just so like you said, excited
so
and
excited.
Willing and things like that. How has it been adjusting to the position here? Taking on the role, being a part of a label, like you said, you've never been a part of that before. How has it been? How have you been settling into this position?
Yeah, I would not feel as confident and excited if it weren't for Joe. Joe set me up for true success. He trained me. He gave me all the tools I needed. He would throw me advice even when I didn't ask for it, and I love that. And Dee too, the SVP of marketing. Shout out Dee. She also has just been incredible, setting me up for success, letting me ask a billion of the most random, intricate questions. But yeah, I really have to thank Joe for where I'm at now, how comfortable I feel now. I think I've only been working here for just shy of 3 months, and we had that long break in December. But everyone has been amazing. This, I'm just having so much fun. I keep saying I'm having so much fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I miss Joe.
Yeah, me too.
It's not too late to come back.
I know. Shout out to Joe. Joe was just someone who was just so thoughtful
Yes.
and intentional, and people just have no
Yeah.
idea, just not even just him, but the big role that everybody behind the scenes
Yeah.
plays, like when it comes to like rollouts and campaigns and things like that with the artists. So I want to know, so when it comes, was marketing something you always wanted to be into? Like,
No, not at all. I think artist management is really where I thrive and like where I gravitate toward. But I feel like in order to be an artist manager or to work in artist management, you have to have digital marketing and just marketing under your belt. I feel like you can't succeed in that front. So when I was hired almost 3 years ago to work in digital marketing, I was like, all right, we'll rock with social media for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, let's see how it goes. And
That's
it
like
was
the easy way in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and I do want to talk about like the difference in the roles that I've experienced because I used to work and everything a lot and just like it was just all on a platform. It wasn't like events or activations or like music videos, social shoots, stuff that really you get to bond with people in person. You get to make really dope stuff. It was all just like on a platform. And I was like, on a social platform. I was like, okay, I'll do this. I'll learn this. I'll make connections here. And it was amazing. I thank God so much for placing me in social media management and digital marketing. I would have never met my best friend. I would have never met a lot of people that I look up to today. And now working more in like general marketing and a lot of like project management, the nitty gritty planning of things, that's something that I feel like I'm naturally good at, but I'm so excited to get better at. It's just more real.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful to be where I'm at. I'm so excited to like flourish in this role. I always, and this is like a common saying, but I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I want to look up to people, and Dee is someone I look up to. Yeah. Shan and Brian, my coworkers, I looked up to them a lot. So yeah, I feel like I'm doing well, but I have so much more to accomplish, which is great.
No, I think you just have such a great eagerness about you, and even just being open to say that, like, I know a lot, but I want to learn more.
Yeah,
I think there's something about that that's so humble, but yet so willing, you know, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to like where did you study, or like where did you go to school?
I went to the University of Florida and I studied PR and event management. So, and I was in a lot of like music industry clubs. Shout out Swamp Records.
Because I'm gonna tell y'all something. So I was looking at Elsa's Instagram, right? Trying to do like some digging on like what to talk about. Yeah. And Elsa was outside. Like she was at Rolling Loud. She was at this festival. She was at this concert. Oh yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, Elsa was that girl is that girl for real. I was like, you are like you are literally doing everything at all the scenes. Like, did you feel like that was like necessary for your growth?
Yeah. So at UF, there was only one music business course, and I actually took it. So taking that class, I didn't have a secure minor. So it was either like you can finish these event management classes and have a secure event management minor, or I can take this music business course and have a event management concentration. I was like, oh, no brainer. I'm taking the music business course. Of course. So when I was involved at UF, there wasn't a lot of like music industry representation. There is some strong music industry representation, but it's not like a school that really focuses on that, because it's University of Florida. It's massive. But I did Swamp Records, which is a student-run record label. I did Gator Mike, which the founder of the club would bring in music industry execs, like tour managers and artists and label reps, and they would speak to us and talk to us. So I got my little tidbit there. And I was like, I guess I can do music PR. Like, I'll try to do that when I graduate. But then I just kept searching for jobs, and I ended up in digital marketing. But it was music. So I was like, okay, we're good. Now, I don't know if I would pivot toward PR and music. Never say never. Yeah. But I like where I'm at. But to your point, yeah, I was outside.
Yeah.
I still am outside. You got to meet people, especially being in Atlanta. I'm like, I have to do everything.
Were you, the thought of meeting people and being outside, were you always open to that? I say that coming from someone who is naturally an introvert. Mm-hmm. And people always say, oh, I can't believe that. Well, believe it, America. I believe it. I'm not the type to, it's not that I don't want to be outside. It's like just meeting new people sometimes makes me anxious, you know?
Yeah.
So for me, I knew I had to like grow into networking, talking to people, meeting new people. Were you like that, or were you always someone like who wanted to meet new people, always good with talking? Like, was there anything? How was that for you?
It depended on like who it was, but I knew if I didn't go up and meet this person or like push through the nervousness, because like if it was, I've met like label owners. I met like Tory Lane's old tour manager, and I was so, shout out Brian, he's actually amazing.
Yeah.
And like I'm so glad I went up and spoke to him, but it depends who it is. If it's someone that I'm nervous to meet, I have to push through it and like go up to them or ask a question. If we're in like a panel or something. So yeah, I get nervous, but I never regret like whatever I say to that person when I meet them. And a lot of the times people are just like down to have a conversation. Yeah. No matter who you are. And if they're not, then they're not. Yeah. But they'll still remember you. Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah. So yeah, no, I love meeting new people. I love networking. Going to networking events in Atlanta is something that I have the most fun doing. Concerts, all this stuff. It's so much fun. So yeah, I get nervous if it's like someone that I've been like, if I look up to them or if I've been like following them for a while. But I'm just like, okay, got to do it. It'll be over in a second. Yeah.
That's literally like my same mindset. It's like, okay, you don't have to, sometimes we tend to, or at least for me, overthink. So like you just, all you have to do is just go up, introduce yourself.
And you black
say
out.
Your name. Right.
You don't know what you just said, but you're like, I said it.
Exactly. Because my biggest thing is like, okay, after hello, what do I say? Okay, after that, what do I say? After that, now what do I say? But it's just like, just introducing yourself, you know? So I've learned that. And I can tell that you're someone who is so good at it. What would you say is from being at UF to learning digital marketing and working at all the labels, networking, everything, what's been the biggest thing you feel like you learned that kind of made you who you are today with being the position that you're filling here at Reach and everything?
If you don't ask for it, it will never be given to you.
Yeah. Dive into that.
As a woman in the industry, you can dive into that. You have to fight for yourself. You have to ask for what you want. You have to speak to the people that you wouldn't dream of maybe speaking of one day. That's definitely that. My answer is really short and sweet, but that's the biggest answer. That's the biggest answer. You gotta ask for what you want. Yeah. Or else you won't be priority. And maybe you will. Maybe the Lord is on your side, and like it. I've had blessings fall into my lap like you wouldn't believe, but a lot of the reason I've learned what I've learned and how I've grown as someone in the industry, I look back like 3 years ago and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so cute. You knew like almost nothing. And now looking at myself, now I'm like, I can't wait to be 4 years down the line in the future and be like, oh my God, you are so cute.
Right.
You knew a little.
Yeah.
So I just, And I think, I kind of forget what the question was, but I just want to say again, like, in this space too, like, I feel like it's so important as a woman to be a jack of all trades. People have called me a sponge before because I literally want to learn and know every aspect of the industry. A&R, how to make a podcast or how to produce a podcast. Sitting in the recording studio and just learning how they do what they do. Sitting with artist managers, sitting with, now working at a label. I want to learn and do it all. Yeah. It's.
That's so inspiring, Elsa. Like, it truly is. I'm not gonna lie to you. Both of us are, you can't tell, but we're both rocking the OJ. I don't care what anyone says. Orange juice is better than apple. I don't care. I said it.
That's tough.
Really, for you?
That's tough. I love both, but I don't know if I can decide.
See, okay, so I'll let you be on the fence, but I said it, and I'm willing. That's something I'm willing to fight on.
If we had apple juice, I probably would be drinking that right now.
Really?
Yeah.
I think the only reason I think I say apple juice no is because I don't know. My dad used to buy it all the time as a kid, but when I was a kid, I was kind of like, we can't drink it. There's no other juice.
Yeah.
There's no other fruit.
Yeah.
There's no other fruit you want juice from. So, but yeah. So I want to talk about what life was like for you growing up. I'm curious to because you grew up in Florida. So I'm curious to what life was like growing up for you there. Just talk about your childhood and what your upbringing was like.
I will. My parents got divorced when I was 5. I don't remember it. Love both my parents very deeply. I'm kind of one of those people that don't remember a lot of their childhood, like their early days.
Yeah.
I kind of remember like middle school a little bit and on.
Yeah.
But I did volleyball starting when I was 8.
Oh my gosh, shut up. I did too.
When you
What position did you play?
Well, guess.
What, you were hitter?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Elsa,
was
if I saw
middle.
you on the court, I'd be like, oh, I'm not blocking her.
Stop. No, I was middle and right side, like synonymously. But yeah, I started when I was 8. And I feel like that was just the core of my life. Like,
Really?
Yes. Practice all the time. My high school was like very serious about it. We won states when I was a junior. Club was very serious. Like a lot of people were really pushing for me to play in college.
Okay.
And I was really insecure through that whole process because, and I've come to terms with this. Actually, last night I was like thinking about it. I played with girls who were like so much better than me, like worlds of difference, better than me. And yeah, I had strengths. I was good. I wasn't bad at all. But I feel like that always made me on edge because they were looked up to, and I was looked up to in a sense, but I always wanted to like measure up to them and like make sure I was on today. Yeah. Because I know they're going to be on today, but so I got to be on today too. And that was in high school and then in club. It was constant. Yeah. We never got a break. High school
club is serious.
It's serious.
Yes.
Yes. The club that I went to like produced collegiate athletes, like popped them out all the time.
Sheesh.
If you played at that club, you could play in college. Like no questions asked.
Yeah.
It was so much pressure. So I was always anxious because it was so much pressure. So that's what I remember as like when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I was chilling. Like I was happy.
Yeah.
I was happy. But like it was just a lot for a teenager. And I started to resent it. I still remember the last day I ever played club volleyball. That was like one of the best days of my life.
Why?
Because it was done. I didn't have to do it ever again. I could go to college and be involved in volleyball if I wanted to. I was like, I'm not going to college for it. I'll do I did club, beach, volleyball, which was so much fun, so relaxed. I was like, this is what it should be like. Yeah. But yeah, like shout out to both my parents because they sacrificed so much of their time to make sure that I was at practice and I was and they were at their games. But yeah, it's kind of, I hope it doesn't sound like too tumultuous because like my parents treated me amazing. My sister is amazing. I have a great family, but a lot of like what I remember is just being like on edge and anxious and like awaiting the game, awaiting practice. Like, how am I going to play today? If I play bad, like, what am I going to do? I have to do this ritual so I don't play bad. Yeah, kind of scary for someone who was like from 8 to 16. Yeah. Wild.
Yeah, man.
But
Elsa.
I'm fine.
No. I relate to that so much. The volleyball, but even being anxious while playing. Because also volleyball, I don't care what anyone says, volleyball is such a great sport. I love watching volleyball. And
so much fun.
To me, it's also intense. To me, it is. It's just it's so intense. It really has you on the edge of your seat. Yeah. And when you're in the midst of that as a player, even at a young age, because you started when playing volleyball?
8.
When you were 8. When you were 8 all the way to, you said 16?
17. 16,
like
17.
that is, And then you were playing in school and doing club?
It was like a rotation.
Oh, so you were one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How was it? How did you manage your anxiety when playing that you would have?
That's a great question. I don't know. I wouldn't have any anxiety attacks or anything. Mm-hmm. It would just be like nervous. Like I would kind of shake. Mm-hmm. I'd have to like play. I'd have to like get comfortable in the game to be good, and like calm down. But I didn't know how to manage it. Yeah. I just kind of like when the game would be over, no matter how I played, I'd be like, it's over.
And that sucks only because with something that you enjoy doing, you don't enjoy it because you're in your
A lot
head.
of the time, yeah. But I will say this, some of the best memories from my kid were when we played volleyball. Yeah. Yeah. Like I loved the sport and I loved the friends that I made through it. I wish I felt a little less anxious during that time. But I like the intensity. That was one of my favorite parts.
It's the best.
Like making a good play,
diving
and just
for
like
the ball,
literally screaming at the top of your lungs after. So much fun. So much fun.
When it comes to because you were saying, I'm curious to know, were there any outlets for you growing up between that 8-year-old and 17-year-old period where it was like a release almost? Because I'm thinking you have volleyball where you loved, but kind of had like this mental weight on you. Like, was there any outlets that you had where you were like, oh, this makes me feel free, this makes me feel at peace?
Young Life was that for me. Mm-hmm. I loved being a part of Young Life in high school.
Well, so what is Young Life?
Young Life is an organization. Oh gosh, that's a loaded question because I don't know how to fully describe it. It's an organization, and they would do kind of like hangouts every Monday night at someone's house. And then there would be like a talk about scripture and God at the end of like the hangout. Okay. And you could be a part of small groups where you would meet up with like a group of girls and you would read the Bible, talk about what you're going through, how is God impacting what you're going through, etc. And you could also go away to like camps or retreats, and stay like a weekend in this cabin. Yeah. And worship, grow with others, like pray with others. That's like such a general way to describe it, and it was a long time ago, so I don't really remember.
No, like how you explained it well.
Yeah, but that was a huge release for me because I had a really great small group leader, Carly, and it grew me closer to my friends. And just like reading scripture and like at that time reading my Bible it brought me so much peace, and that really goes into like how I found God and how I like grew with him when I was a teenager, just how much peace he gave me. Like praying, giving him my anxiety. Yeah. It was so peaceful. I don't know if I think I tried to do that during like my season of volleyball, but it wouldn't really, like I would be too anxious where I'd be like, okay, Lord, like please take my anxiety. And then I'd open my eyes and I'd be like, I still feel the same.
Yeah. No, but that's real. That's very honest. I can resonate.
Like, have you taken it yet?
Right.
Because I still feel
it. If you could give me an ETA on how long this anxiety is going to sit with me.
Yeah, I still do that to this day.
Yeah.
Like if I'm anxious about something or if I'm overthinking about something, I just pause and I'm like, okay, just give it to God. Like just relieve my anxiety, and I feel so much like more at peace.
Yeah. Hearing you talk about, I feel like I've never talked to anyone on the show about this is a topic of just, I know we've talked about like mental health and depression and things like that and suicidal ideation, but I feel like we've never talked about just like the anxiety, and so you saying that just has my wheels turning. Mm-hmm. So when you said you feel like when Young Life, correct? Mm-hmm. That is what would you say deepens your relationship with God? Was that how you got introduced to faith?
Yeah. No, I grew up Catholic. And I went to the best Catholic church, I would say, on the planet. Yeah. Like I loved the priests there. They were so welcoming. I tell this to everyone when they ask about like how I grew up in my faith in my childhood. But on the outside of the doors to the Catholic church, there was a banner and it just said all are welcome. And so that's how I grew up. Everyone is welcome in this Catholic church. And today, unfortunately, that's not the case with a lot of Catholic churches. There's a lot of stuff going around in the Catholic community, which is really unfortunate. But I'm so grateful to say that like my faith started with kindness, inclusivity, trust, and just such a like rich community. Like there was food drives and toy drives all the time. My mom was donating like every other week to these drives. And that's something I'm kind of looking for right now in a church too, when we were just talking about like churches. That's a piece that I really want to look for because it's so important to give back to the community that you're in my opinion, if you are a church. But yeah, that's how it started. That's how my faith started. My mom is very Catholic. My grandparents are Irish Catholic. And yeah, I grew up going to church every Sunday. Little Elsa didn't love it. She didn't know what the homily was. But as you grow up, I really took a liking to it. And then Young Life was more of an outlet for me to understand how to read the Bible and like what scriptures I gravitate to. How do my friends view their faith and how are they praying? And yeah, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at now.
Yeah. When it comes to, I'm thinking about your transition from 17 to college.
Yeah.
Because you are super plugged into volleyball.
Yeah.
Loved playing it, but then anxiety would try to cripple you. And then now you're leaving volleyball, now going into learning getting your PR degree. Did you have any anxious battles there, like when it came to your college life or anything of that nature?
I mean, no. I had an amazing college experience. I was a Young Life leader for a while.
So you could do Young Life in college too.
That's
fire.
Yeah, I led middle schoolers for a little bit, and that was so much fun. It was so great.
Middle schoolers are the best.
Yes, and it was at like an underprivileged middle school too. So I really got to connect with a lot of kids that grew up different than I did, and I felt like that was really important to experience. But as far as anxiety goes, I mean, the classic kid would get anxious about like an exam. I had a few like really tough courses, but so much of my anxiety was relieved. I found like my best friends forever in college. So no, I was living it up.
Yeah.
We were having a good time.
Was there a moment or when you were in Young Life and things like that, when you said that you kind of deepened your relationship with God, do you remember like, not maybe a specific moment, but what it was that made you see God differently or rely on him differently? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I don't know if there's a specific moment, but what I was going through in college was so much different than what I was going through when I was younger. I had more responsibilities. I had different friendships to evolve in. I was in a relationship in college. So I used God and trusted him in different outlets because I was going through different things. I would pray about my relationship. I would pray about my friends who were going through a lot of tough things. My dad went through a health scare in college, and that was a pivotal point of leaning on him. But it wasn't really like leaning on him to ease my anxiety. It was more so leaning on him to like help me through and whatever I was going through. And it was really about just like trusting in him more in college.
Yeah.
And I feel like where I'm at today is a very similar process. I'm not as anxious, thank the Lord. And how I mentioned I was go with the flow, like in the beginning of the pod. That's all because of him.
Yeah.
If I try to, like, what's your 5-year plan is not a question I will answer. Because I'm like, I don't know. Only God knows.
Yeah.
I can tell you make plans and God laughs.
Yeah.
Like that's another one of my favorite sayings. But yeah, I hope that answers your question.
It does.
Yeah.
With you taking on the new role here at Reach in marketing, you're also our new producer here at the 116 Life. So how has it been diving into that role, being a producer, and what are you excited about when it comes to, like, you know, being a part of the team and everything we're doing here at the 116 Life?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to grow closer to you and Ace and just learn your process. And watching the podcast has been so much fun.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I have to write the titles and the descriptions. I do that.
Yeah.
It's been amazing. I have never produced or been a guest on a podcast before, so this is new for me, but y'all make it way too easy. For you.
Oh my gosh.
You and Ace, you make it way too easy. Finding guests is something that I want to get better at. I definitely want to land some people on here that I know, or that could just be dope guests.
Yeah.
But it's been a blast.
Yeah.
I'm glad you convinced me to come on
absolutely.
today.
When I tell you, I was like, Elsa, listen, I have an idea and I need you to not say no.
I knew it was gonna be me, and I looked at you with crazy eyes.
And I had to be careful because when we had Tadashi on and you walked in on the side and Tadashi was like, Elsa, how you like being on camera? And you were like, no. And I was just like, I'm gonna try to convince her she could be able to come on. So I'm happy that you're able to be on. With you being here at Reach, and let me ask this: when did you get introduced to the movement, the label, the artist? Like, did you know about Reach before you actually came on?
I knew of Lecrae, but I didn't know about the label until like year 2 of living in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I knew it was independent, and I was like, that's so cool. Like, what other labels are independent nowadays? There's very few. But no, it was such a pleasure to meet Ben and the team and like meet the artists when I got put on here, and like learning more about the movement. I'm like, okay, like I'm rocking with this. The merch is fresh too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another thing. I don't have any merch.
Oh, we got to get on that.
I'm just kidding.
You can take some of these hoodies behind me.
I'm just kidding. I know. I keep looking at this hoodie. I'm like, that's so sick. No, I'm kidding. But no, it's been amazing. I feel like this is such a strong movement. It's branded so well. The fact that it's tattooed on so many people, so insane. So dope. Like, even I want to learn more too about like the start of 116 when Lecrae, Tadashi, and Trip were like youngins.
Yeah.
Brian, actually, our digital operations manager, has been putting me on some like early 116 music.
Brian's
I'm like, let's bring it back.
Right.
Can we bring it back? They're like, I don't know. Let's bring it back.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been great.
So that's cool. How has it been even like diving into the music? You know what I'm saying? Because with you knowing, just now knowing about Reach and diving into that, you're learning about not even just the history, but like Anike, RG, Few, Hovey, everybody. How has it been even diving into the discography of everyone here? Have you had the chance to even like, do any of that?
Oh yeah, before I came on, I did my due diligence and listened to a lot of the music. It is so fire. I can't even explain the quality. Shout out to our studio team. It is so great. The production, amazing. Like, having this studio back here as a resource and like being able to just freely move through studios and see how who's recording, what they're recording, what they're working on, and then seeing that come to life like on release day. It's like the coolest. I geek. Like, it's the coolest process in the world. I've been bumping a lot of RG.
Yeah.
Siendo Cenas. Yeah. Z99 dropped today. Go listen.
And also, y'all, Elsa knows a lot of the stuff that's like coming down the pipeline that's not even out yet. So she can like, she really knows, like, even beyond like the old stuff, she know the new that's on the way.
You can take this out if you need to. Lecrae has some things coming. I was telling him the other day, I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
You got, like, this is it. It's such good music.
Yeah.
I used to work in a recording studio too in Orlando when I graduated college, in between when I was moving here. And that too was when I started geeking out on like how the music is made, like what is quality and what is not quality. and I trained my ear to have those niches. And that was so much fun because it was just like regular old like Florida rappers coming through, but even like learning their process and being with them was like so fun to learn. And just like I still need to sit in a writing session here, so that's one of my goals. But I love the music so much. Yeah, it's so great. Shout out to Dashi too. He just dropped today. Yeah, Safe to Be Me with Jordan Sparks.
Man, listen,
such a good track.
So many good songs.
So many good songs.
And I love that you're able to like go into the old, even like, you know, enjoying the new things that are on the way.
Yeah.
Like I was saying earlier, it is Women's History Month. Shout out to every woman who is watching this. I want to just dive into that. I just really wanted to be, when Elsa was asking me who we wanted to have on the show, I was just like, you know, I just want to talk to women, you know, and I feel like you're just one of the great people who we're able to talk to and like highlight different things. Who are some women in your life that just inspire you?
My mom, through and through. She grew my faith more than I think like anyone has. She is an angel, a light. Everyone who meets my mom afterwards, they're like, I love your mom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know. She's the best.
She's the best.
She's so sweet. I love her so much. She's such a gem. And she's so strong in her faith. I look up to her in that way. She's stronger than me in a lot of ways with her faith. So that's been amazing to like be with her and grow up with her as a mom. And then this is like a woman in the industry, but Neelam Tadani, she used to be Jack Harlow's manager. When I'm a Jack Harlow like stan. Yeah. Old Jack Harlow, okay? Not
OG.
Nothing. OG. Like if you're watching, hit me up. But yeah, no, Neelam Tadani, she used to manage Jack Harlow. When I found Jack Harlow, I was like, who is his manager? It was a woman, and I was like, I need to learn more about her. She did like an interview, or it was a blog social media post, and she was speaking about her vision for artists and why she is an artist manager. And it was word for word my vision and like why I want to be in the music industry and help artists. Yeah. And manage artists, whether it's marketing, general managing, whatever. So she is someone, she's incredible. And I look up to her a lot, and I hope to meet her one day and tell her that in person. Any manager who's a woman, I'm just like, you're amazing. Because it's a male dominated field, especially like managers. And it's such a strenuous job. You juggle so many things. And I feel like women are the best at juggling so many things.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
We are, if there was an Olympic section for multitasking in the Olympics, women will win.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We would go head to head, I feel like. Oh my gosh. That's when people ask like one of my strengths, I say multitasking.
No, because it's a skill. Not everybody can multitask.
Yes, yeah. And women do that so well. So shout out to all the women artist managers in the game.
You said something that I wanted to touch on you said, well, being a woman in the male dominated industry. Is there anything that you've had to learn to overcome or learn to embrace with being a woman in the music industry?
Yeah, I think growing up, and we talked about volleyball a lot of constructive criticism, sometimes like in really harsh ways, maybe a little too constructive, came at me consistently. So that's something I've evolved into in a good way. Is like now if I look at, you know, my coworkers or my boss, I crave constructive criticism. As a woman, don't micromanage me. Please trust me. Yeah. But I want you to give me feedback that will make me better, because if you don't, I can't be better at my job. I can't be a better person. And that goes for like family and friends too. Like, please give me constructive criticism. Please give me your feelings about how I'm doing in your life and how I'm impacting your life. So yeah, that's something that I've evolved into and grown into in the music industry. And I think it's really important. I feel like sometimes in the music industry, a lot of people talk in circles and they don't address like the main problem. And as women, it can be scary to be in a room full of men and be like, this is the problem. Because like you would think that a man would say that or a man would be able to figure that out. And a lot of the times that's not the case. So I'm trying to grow into that more too. Just like addressing things head on.
Yeah.
And not like running around in circles or not beating around the bush. And that can be hard as a woman for sure, because it makes you dominant in that sense. So yeah, definitely evolving through that and just trying to be more confident. That's been a learning process for sure. I think, I forget who told me, I think it's a common saying, but like if you're in a room, you're supposed to be there. Don't ever think that you're not supposed to be in a room if you're not there, or if you're in it. Like, you belong in it. And that's something that I really live by. If I'm in a room and I'm like, I look up to this person, I know this person, what am I supposed to be doing here? It's something.
Yeah, something.
Speak up too when you're in those places. And that all dials back to like meeting people and going up to them and introducing yourself. It's the same thing. If you're in a room or in a meeting, speak up, make your voice heard, because it's important.
Yeah, no, it is. That was really good, Elsa. Everything that you just said, right? If I could snaps all around. I think with, and it's so cool even just talking to you in real time and realizing just your journey of just, of you dealing with anxiety a little heavier in school, and then growing into being confident and speaking up for yourself and accepting criticism. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and things of
I give that
nature.
all to God. Like, I truly give it all to God, because it could have twisted and turned into something deep and negative. And I'm not saying I'm perfect and I have it all figured out in that sense, but I definitely could have. I've had traumatic experiences when I was younger that I think could have twisted into something dark. And because of God and like my angels, it twisted into something beautiful. Yeah. So I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah. Do you feel like there are any, I'm trying to find the right way to word this. When it comes to women in the music industry, is there anything that you feel like women get looked down upon or overlooked on that you wish would change? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So when women, I feel like a lot of the times, this has happened to me consistently, when women speak up in professional spaces, I feel like some people just have it go in through one ear and out the other, and they maybe confide in people in that space who they want to hear from.
Got you. I see what you're saying.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think that is certainly something. What was your question again?
When it comes to women who are overlooked, or even misconceptions when it comes to women people may have in the music industry, something that you wish people wouldn't do.
Yeah. I think really listening to what women have to say, like in those professional spaces. What else is overlooked? Ideas. I always think women are insanely creative in a different way than men. A lot of men are like wildly creative. Shout out Kevin Hackett, our creative director. Definitely look up to him and his creative vision. But a lot of the ideas that I hear from like D or Shan too, they're so much more creative in a different way, and I want their ideas to always be taken seriously. And they are in this space. But I've been in spaces before where I've like brought up ideas, and again, it goes in through one ear and out the other, and then whatever happens, and it might not do well, or if it does well, that's great. But I'm always able to like reference what I said again and be like, oh yeah, by the way, I said that.
Yes.
Oh yeah, per my last email.
Yes. Oh, per my last email, I will. Yes, as you should.
Yeah. But I've had such good experiences working with other women in the industry. Like where I used to work, I met so many women in management, and I loved the women that I worked with in digital marketing. Like, we're just on it. Like, if you're a woman in the music industry, I feel like you just have it. Like, we're it girls for real.
No, for real.
Yeah.
Say that again.
We're it girls for real.
Yes.
Like, we're so cool. And I feel like a lot of people, like, a lot of my friends, they'll be like, Elsa, you're so cool. You work in the music industry. And it's like, yeah, I feel cool, but like I'm hungry if anything. Like
dive more into that.
Like I was saying before, how I want to learn like every single aspect and be involved. And not at the same time, but like dip my toes into every point of the music industry. Like I'm really hungry for that. And that's what I want to be cool. I don't want it to be cool that like I set up a music video.
Yeah.
Like that is cool.
No, yeah.
But like tell me I'm cool because I sat in a writing session and then I went to like a meeting with so-and-so's manager that day.
Yeah.
That's what I think is cool. Things
that go way deeper than what most people would think on the outside looking in. Yeah. That's what matters more.
Yeah.
Elsa, I'm so happy that you came on. I'm so grateful you did. Do you have any final words? Any final words you want to leave?
These questions were like, tell me right now what you're thinking immediately. I'm like, oh.
Because like, I feel like it's so important to just like, not think and just whatever comes to your mind.
Whatever comes to my mind. I guess, thank you for having me. I'm so grateful to be here at Reach Records and on this podcast. And I cannot wait to continue, being a woman in this industry. Like, I'm so excited. I thank God for everything that he's given me today. And if you're a woman and you want to be in the music industry and you're listening to this, go after it. Like, send that DM, send that email. If you want a cold call, send that cold call, leave a voicemail, go after it because it's so much fun bonding with women in this industry, especially those who are faithful and who can just trust the process. But yeah, I think those are my final words.
Yeah.